Well, I'm here. But I thought you guys didn't like me taking part in these. And so? What's intelligence learned recently? You mean Morin?
Ah, yes, well, indeed. It seems that while we vetted Mr. Moran before he came here, we've gleaned some additional details through conversations with former Zwellian officials who live down here in the lower lands, as it were.
He have any skeletons in his closet?
He seems to have negotiated with the Lithos clan on behalf of the king, and may be nursing a grudge. It seems Prince Cassus is far more popular amongst those peoples.
Peoples that we can't even locate, right? I mean, where are these guys?
We have verified via surveillance at least 3 or 4 different lithos similar to Golex in the Italian Alps area. But there seems to be some way for them to escape trailing at a certain point.
That's only if they're hostile. Anyway, any other subjects?
My, but you're impatient. Rather reminds me of my own father, who once said,
Hey, do you guys say syrup or syrup?
Very well. Next, on the subject of the assassin Ravix. Seems that he was raised by a private military contractor, a man who had been a U.S. Marine and inherited millions from a wealthy relative. He became a big game hunter, and then finally a manhunter, continuing to take contracts from the government. At some point he disappeared, only to reappear again with revolutionary cloaking technology. But not long afterwards he disappeared again, and hasn't been seen since. He'd been declared dead, and his house had been burned to the ground. His butler still owns a good chunk of his property, but his son
went into Daddy's business, huh? At least we know where he got his cloaking gem. That guy was quite the Renaissance man.
Quite. Although I'm not too sure of that. Apparently there was a rash of technology thefts and disappearing researchers in the field of optical science in the early 90s. The FBI in the States investigated this thoroughly, but couldn't make any headway.
Ha! I see stealing tech runs in the family. What? Just base it in the Kiwi district. That's where it was tested, right? Well, it's mobile. It wouldn't stay there for too long. Tell those hobbits to just get over it.
Ah, yes. But might I suggest we not add any additional pressure on the citizenry? Dear fellows, it would do well to endear them to us if we rewarded them for their patience.
Fuck, I don't care where you put it. Maybe when we find a Lithos, we can park it near them. Really wag our asses as well. Who, me? I guess I do have an anime to go review. See you then. Truth here, and this month we'll be taking a look at some of my favorite anime here on Otaku Evolution. First off, the 6-episode Gainax OVA, Furikuri. Yeah, I know, you expect me to review Evangelion now that the new English dub is out, right? Especially since the new dub is to my liking, with the cast having a much wider range than ADV's. And I'll probably end up getting to it too, just not now. But yeah, the new dub, a lot better. But enough about Evangelion, because we're looking at an only slightly more penetrable, but nevertheless dense work from Gainax with Furikuri. It's a Bildungsroman and an anti-Bildungsroman. It's full of sexual innuendo and philosophical navel-gazing. It's a comedy with mecha, it's a covert history of Gainax, it's the spirit of the 1990s in 2000. And like Gundam 0080, it does a lot more with 6 episodes than many anime do with 26 or more. Naota is a bored grade school kid living in the town of Mabase. He thinks his hometown is too ordinary, despite the giant iron-shaped medical mechanica building. He spends his off hours being doted on by Mamimi, the high school-age girlfriend of his brother who went to the U.S. to play baseball. But his life goes from 0 to 50 when he's hit by a strange woman on a Vespa. Twice. Once with the Vespa, and another with her guitar. To start with.
Did she put her tongue inside? You are useless! What are you talking about? Oh, she's very fast. She's at least 20 years old. You need a doctor?
A stupid adult who doesn't know how to grow up.
The mystery woman, Haruko, insinuates herself into Naota's life, and has a very specific use for the kid's bruised noggin, pulling stuff out in hopes of finding something or someone from another dimension. But usually all that comes out are troublesome robots. One of those robots is Kanti, who helps around Naota's house, and occasionally eats Naota so they can fight other robots. I'd like to say it makes more sense in context, but, well, only just so. Naota's father and grandfather run a bakery, though his father is mostly into self-publishing a salacious local magazine and generally being an immature weirdo with a thing for Haruko. Grandpa is a cranky curmudgeon who disapproves of Mamimi, though, she is a high school girl hitting on his young grandson, and coaches a local baseball team. Both of them and Naota's homeroom teacher are meant to represent adults with very childish personalities. Hysterical, so-called grown-ups who either never take anything seriously or take trivial things far too seriously. In other words, people that the desperate-to-be adult Naota finds irritating. The most mature of Naota's little group of friends is Nina Mori, the daughter of the scandal-ridden mayor of Mabase. It turns out that her very prim and mature public persona hides a few cracks in it as well, with her obsession over controlling everything, as to have a way to feel she hasn't lost control in the chaos of her home life. It can be speculated that she has a bit of a crush on Naota, though whether it's reciprocated isn't clear. There's not enough room in this OVA for it. It has too much going on. As time passes, despite his protestations, Naota becomes increasingly fond of, and even somewhat dependent on Haruko. She seems to be coaching him into adulthood short of actual sexual contact. It's more than a cooler older sister vibe, though, with Naota obviously having difficulty quite extracting his hormones from their relationship entirely. But it becomes more apparent with each passing episode that Haruko is keenly manipulative and is utilizing her bizarre charisma on Naota for her own gains.
The palm of my hand still stings. I wonder if Haruko feels like this all the time.
Crisis report.
All systems online and functioning at normal capacity.
Trying to make him realize this is a mysterious man named Amurao, who's ostensibly the head of some law enforcement agency investigating Haruko, but obviously has some kind of past with her, with a grudging acknowledgement of her abilities. Amurao is of course right that Haruko is basically using Naota to obtain her own goal, but he's also off on her specific motivation, and he himself is quite an example of an adult who, while presenting himself initially as a responsible, reasonable figure, also has shades of childishness and hysteria. To be fair to Amurao, is it really hysteria when really big things keep threatening the planet? He's just overreacting when it comes to Haruko's individual behaviors rather than the trend. At least he takes part in one of my favorite sequences in the series.
You understand they're willing to activate the plant for that purpose, and you know what that'd do to this planet. And that thing, when that thing turns red, it's Atomisk.
Furikuri! Furikuri!
If you somehow haven't seen Furikuri and don't want to be completely spoiled, you may want to skip ahead to a later period in this video. But come on, who hasn't seen Furikuri by now? Let's talk about Haruko's real goal, obtaining Atomisk, the Pirate King. Atomisk's nature, how Haruko came to meet him, or how he came to be captured by Medical Mechanica, or even if that's really so, is never explained. All we know is that he can steal entire galaxies through the same portals Haruko utilizes. Amaro speculates that Haruko is in love with Atomisk, and what turns out to really be true is that she just wants his power. When in the finale Naota retains the power of Atomisk, it infuriates the errant housekeeper to violence towards the child, her mask breaking entirely. Fortunately, she comes to take it in stride after her defeat by Naota's confessed love for her. Maybe it's because Naota doesn't actually want Atomisk's power like she does. He just wants her by his side.
I lost him again because of you, Takun. We couldn't pull it off.
What Furikuri is actually about is a little more complicated than a message about growing up and getting over childish behavior. Naota is actually too desperate to want to appear more adult-like, even if he can't handle actual grown-up things. Furikuri doesn't say, grow up. It says, grow up naturally, don't hurry it. Let yourself mature instead of diving headlong into a premature adulthood that doesn't allow you to actually grow into it. A perfect example of this is in my favorite episode, the penultimate, episode 5. This is after episode 4, in which Naota saves Mabase from being destroyed by a giant satellite by whacking it like he was hitting a fly ball. His friends are praising him for his deed, and he begins to get a big head about it. Seeing Mamimi pull away from him because of her fear he'll abandon her like his brother, Naota wants to show just how the two of them can pursue an adult relationship. But Mamimi sees through this to the heart of the matter, that Naota is more interested in the older Haruko, and his sudden interest in her is just as childish as any other behavior from the adults that irritate him. Naota has become too obsessed with seeming more grown up.
So, let's get something here.
Why are you doing this all of a sudden?
I just want to hang out here with you. What's wrong with that?
Takun, you're not supposed to do things like this with me.
Why not? We're here.
This culminates in Naota's rage that Mamimi still lingers on her infatuation with his brother. After all, he's the one saving her, not his brother. But even after having saved the day, he's still treated like Haruko's stepping stone. I mean, when Haruko disappears and then reappears in the final episode, Naota sobs like a child reunited with a sibling or parent when she offers to take him away to a life on the run. She sees that he's just a kid after all, and even in his sojourns with her, he can never really be her equal. After saving the world from Medical Mechanica and her, he's definitely matured a little, but while Haruko acknowledges this, he still needs time before he's ready for her.
Wanna come along? Know what? Forget it. 'Cause you're still a kid, Takun. Save it for next time.
Furikuri is probably best known for its bizarre imagery, often referencing older anime, and superlative production values. Gainax really pulled out all the stops at the time, giving animation to the likes of Tetsuya Nishio, Yo Yoshinari, and Shinji Otsuka, who each have an impressive body of work. Like I said about Redline, there's an energy to Furikuri that charges the viewer as they watch. Though unlike with Redline, there's more room to breathe for quieter, more contemplative moments. The other thing Furikuri is known for is its inescapable, inextricable element of its music. Background music is supplied by Shinkichi Mitsumune, But it only serves to complement the alternative rock stylings of The Pillows, a band whose music permeates the very soul, or indeed even forms part of it, of furikuri. It gives it a cool, almost indie-like quality to it, like you're watching something secret and subversive that other people don't know about. What's your favorite song of furikuri? Mine? It's gotta be Blues Drive Monster. It's a song about the longing for somebody to come along and make the world more interesting. And what could be more fitting for the story of Naota, whose world is rocked by Haruko's entrance? She'd be a manic pixie dream girl if she wasn't also sort of the antagonist with her own goals. But let's not debase ourselves talking about popular common tropes. Not when we can debase ourselves by talking about the sequels! Ah, furikuri progressive and furikuri alternative. Progressively poorer, and alternatively not as good. But they were bound to happen after the massive popularity furikuri enjoyed on Adult Swim. One of them is a sequel that's more of a fetish anime, and the other is a maybe prequel, maybe sequel that, while not terrible, still doesn't have the same soul as the original. But let's save a more detailed look for another video. Let's just summarize things by saying while it's understandable that you'd want more furikuri, the actual need for it, especially as it was very little. But hey, at least we got more of The Pillows out of it. Well, that about wraps it up for Furikuri. A unique coming-of-age tale wrapped in a strange series of referential, if reverential, visuals, comic reactions, mecha fights, and great music. And I was glad to share my thoughts with all of you on it. This is Mike, Penguin Truth, for Otaku Evolution. And next time I'll be returning to the vaunted and overcomplicated world of UC Gundam. Until then, see ya!
Naota, it's time to lay it on the line. What does furikuri mean?
I don't know.
Come on, you have to know. The main character always knows stuff like that.
Tell us already, Naota!
Grandpa, too? What is this? Who cares about footy-cooty anyway?
With a kick of the future, maybe kids don't need the masters, just waiting for the little blasters. Oh yeah. With a kick of the future, maybe kids don't need the masters, just waiting for the little blasters.